Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. And I think it's fair to start this video off with a little bit of a question. I know that we are in the BB time travel season, but it's starting to feel like, at least to everybody else, are we just in the BB Twilight Zone? Because
I know.
nobody is doing anything that makes any sense anymore. We have all these players, and conceivably someone is going to win this season, but they're all making bizarre, jaw-dropping decisions gameplay-wise. We have someone acting like they have a power when very clearly they do not.
Drew! How could you do that to me, my guy? We both live in Temecula. I don't understand how you could do that to me.
I have not been more gagged watching a Big Brother show, and because we've been doing these whole live feed things for over a decade and a half at this point.
Yes.
I was floored. I still can't believe that Drew does not have a power and that Dee actually does.
No, and I mean that I shouldn't be surprised that Dee has the power and hid it from Devon's. I shouldn't be surprised. I've watched her play Survivor, and this is exactly how she plays. I was so shocked, and it's actually really fun to be shocked in these types of situations because, like Matt said, we've been covering this show and the live feeds for over a decade and a half now. It's been a very, very, very long time. It's hard to surprise us with this show, but holy smokes, was I ever surprised when it turned out that Dee had it, didn't tell Devon's, and Drew's just been out here, bragging that he basically has it without saying anything? How do you even know that this is in play? Did you just get lucky?
I have no idea what's going on in his brain. And that's a recurring theme we'll talk about throughout this, but it's also just Dee, not only have you snowed over your own alliance with you snowed over all of the live feeders. I am 5 seconds away. Does anyone else remember that diary room that Zach Rance gave in Big Brother 16 when he was just just give the money to Frankie, and he was just that is how I feel with Dee at this point on Big Brother 28.
I was crashing out for 2 days over Drew, probably, maybe, but now no, having any kind of power. He mentioned that coin flip thing so many times, oh my goodness.
Well, we'll crash out more about Drew in this video, but that's not the only person we're going to crash out about. Let's just make that very clear right now.
No, but before we get into this any further, thank you so much to everyone who, was supporting me yesterday with Felix. It was his gotcha day. It was the day that we brought him home 1 year ago yesterday, so we had a bit of a celebration. I posted my very first picture of Felix and my husband Bard on our Instagram and asked you guys to go over and give us a follow over there, and so many of you did. Thank you so much for doing that. It was really nice to get all the compliments and comments and just support from everybody about this. So thank you so much for letting me share that journey with you guys. I really appreciate it. And for going over to our Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It was so sweet. It made me so happy to see all these people coming out and supporting you with all of that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we are now officially on the other side of the veto ceremony, which happened a little bit earlier today. For those of you who are a little bit behind, Head of Household Haley originally nominated Taylor, Drew, and Melody.
Yep.
Taylor won the veto, and I do not think it is a surprise to anyone that she was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and take myself off here.
Yeah, she did. And I don't think after everything that's been going on the past few days with Kamu and all the stuff that Lyric's been doing, Lyric is up on the block.
This is where, things are going to get very interesting both the rest of the week and the rest of this video.
It is only Monday. A lot can change.
A lot can change because it's just, for now, is Drew probably the target? Yes. However, should Lyric actually be the target? Because, if we want to put tinfoil on top of tinfoil, Lyric has played an absolutely terrible last 24 hours. It is shown that she is, I think, a really good player when she's playing from the middle, and she doesn't have to do too much. She can tell a lie here, she can tell a lie there. There's attention on other people, so she doesn't really get caught in any awkward situations. But when she's a potential nominee and all of the attention is on her, it's very easy for people to catch on to a lot of her lies.
Lyric should absolutely be the person to go. We spoke a little bit about this in
Yeah.
our update yesterday. It still stands today. She's getting way too close to Kamu and everything that's going on there with the actual alliance. She
Yes.
does not need to be coming in lying as much as she is. That needs to get split up, and
Yeah.
it needs to get split up before they deal with Drew at all. Drew thought he was so good, he threw his HOH. So even at this point where we've gone this many days and he's, on the block, no veto, didn't work out, it seems like maybe mildly concerned, but he's definitely not crashing out like he should be, like somebody
Yes.
who is the target to be going home.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I feel like his alliance could reel him back in for one more week to get him out next week and just get Lyric out this week. Lyric is causing too many problems for them.
She's causing an unbelievable amount of problems, like not even just for people on the Toolshed side, but like people on every single side. Like we're going to try to get into like the granular details of all of this before we go big picture with the votes and everything and what should actually happen, because Lyric decided that she would much rather just try to destroy every allegiance that she has in the game as opposed to, I don't know, just trying to hope that she could stay or win the blockbuster. She really didn't want to go on the block. I respect that. You always want to play really hard in Big Brother, but you also kind of have to be, I don't know, delicate or sensitive, or not just like try to throw all of your allies under the bus in the process.
Yeah, she is really rubbing everybody the wrong way on both sides of the house.
Yeah, so I mean, Lyric starting on Sunday night, like she just started throwing Mallory under the bus, like relentlessly, like hardcore. Mallory's done this. Mallory's talking about breaking up, Kamu, Chuck, and Haley. Like she goes really, really hard on this with Kamu, who's of course listening to every word that she says because, Kamu has basically fallen under the spell of Lyric to a certain degree here.
The Lyric mist.
The Lyric mist is very, very strong with some of these dudes. And like she has a similar conversation with Chuck where she lays it out all. And then like Chuck, of course, as he puts on his like suit of armor and he's just like, don't you worry. I'm going to have a conversation with Haley about this. We're going to try to make sure that something happens here. You're going to be safe. Trust me.
Yeah, all the best with that.
Yeah.
Haley does what Haley wants. Haley is already doing whatever Haley wants.
Yes.
Kami didn't want Lyric on the block, and here we are. They all wanted Mallory on the block, and here we are.
Yeah, Haley, I will never be a big Haley fan, but I will admit there is a certain amount of her just like throwing all of their arguments into the trash can over the past 12 hours.
Wild.
Yeah, that I really enjoy just because like it is so transparently obvious to Haley, who's not under the Lyric mist, as you put it, where she can see what's going on here. And she's just like, well, why do I want to bring this person in? Because like theoretically, she could replace me at some point down the road.
1,000% she's going to end up replacing you. She
Yes.
already basically has the two other guys who are in this trio replacing you by making sure that she's brought in, protecting her from being on the block. Listen, everyone on the other side of the house has to go. That's how this alliance is supposed to be working. They're already targeting Drew, who's part of their alliance, which is wild to begin with for no reason. And then you're going to end up what? Bringing in Lyric? She has to go too.
Yeah, she has to go, and I think it benefits a lot of these people that it's sooner rather than later. Like, I mean, I'm very curious what sort of tension is going to be here, even if Lyric stays after this week, because this morning, Lyric went to Haley, they do, can I have a talk with you? Yes, and Haley ate her breakfast, lunch, and dinner in this conversation. Like, Haley's biggest strength and biggest weakness is that she can't keep any opinions to herself, and she tries to make everyone feel sorry for her, even when there's nothing to feel sorry for.
Yeah, you're the HOH and you're in power.
Yeah, but she basically was like, listen, Lyric, I find it very weird that, like, you're not hanging out with Chuck at all, you're not hanging out with Kamu, oh, then Rome is gone, and then magically, here you come, having all of these conversations. You are so quick to throw, like, your supposed best friends under the bus to try to get them, like, and then of course, because Haley has to make things about herself, she then transitions into, would I ever do this to Angela? Would I then be like, oh, Angela, like, what would that make me? I have really serious trust issues with you. And you can just see it on Lyric's face. Like, she knows that she's lost, but because, Lyric is a gamer, like, hats off to her. Like, she has to try to keep a brave face on through all of this.
Lyric just needed to be like, I understand, that I have my people that I'm throwing under the bus. And at the same time, you're like, I'm with Angela. Would I ever throw Angela under the bus? Okay, well, you're with Drew and he's on the block and he's going home. So what are you talking about?
Another funny part of this was that Haley ultimately just started to describe this as like, oh, this is going to be a trust building exercise.
My
I'm
God.
sure that is how Lyric is going to think of this after the fact, even if Lyric swore like a million different times, oh, I could keep you safe. Lyric has promised every single person in this house safety at this point.
This is going so beautifully for Dee and Devins, who are sitting back being like, how did we get here? How did we get so lucky? We've made some huge moves. We've been both HOH. I'm sitting on a power. Dee's like quietly in her head, I'm also sitting on a power, but I'm not telling you.
Yes.
And they're fine. There's like no smoke on them at all.
Yeah, like if there's...
The red corner is going way before the vets.
It definitely feels that way because of like their own issues and their own like dysfunction, the way that they go about doing a lot of this thing. Like the only...
And Lyric, she is wrecking the red corner.
Yeah, she is. Like the only point, it's a small point that Lyric may have had here, was she kept trying to reiterate this idea that's like, oh, but Haley, we made this deal around HOH that we would protect. And then, Haley's trying to be like, oh, in the fine print, I never said anything about a replacement nominee. And instead, this is Haley's other problem here, is that she always has to find a self-righteous way to stand up and be like, I'm right. We've always met some people in life who refuse to acknowledge that they're wrong about anything when it's, I don't know, I find it cathartic sometimes to just be like, I'm not perfect, but Haley's incapable of that, and that's why she's not going to get any jury votes at the end of the season.
Hey, we started off this video being like, we were totally wrong about Drew. We over here, like, crashing out about how wrong we were about it. It's okay to be wrong. We're all human. But Haley, I would absolutely take you to the end. You are not winning this show.
Yeah, and I think this is why there is a lot of loyalty that has happened with this red corner, because they're very afraid. I mean, by they, I mean, the likes of Dee and Devins, of getting rid of this group that they feel like they could beat. Like, that is a very attractive quality to them. But that then brings us back to that subject of, okay, well, here is why Lyric has got to go, because Lyric is actually way more threatening as a player than any of those red corner people are at the end, because if she makes it to the end, she can be like, I had this showman's target on me, but I managed to get off of it. I pretended like this showman's wasn't as important as it was. I fooled this person. I did. Like, she would have a really good story, a really, really good resume, and keeping her around is giving potentially Camus and Chuck another ally where I don't think they're ever going to put her on the block. I don't think they're ever going to get rid of her. And like, keeping someone in the game that multiple people probably are never going to want to evict, that's going to be more and more troublesome, like, the further you go into the game. Like, who's really fighting to keep Drew at this point?
Yeah, if I was Dee and Devins and I'm looking, this group with Angela, I know Angela really hates Drew, but you can deal with Drew next week if you really still need to get him out of the house.
Yes.
He's not a threat to you at the moment, but Lyric absolutely is, because if you still want to be working with the red corner for a while, because they're all making themselves much bigger targets. Perfect. Yeah. Let's keep you guys around longer so that you can protect us. Then you don't want them imploding because Lyric. So for them, they should really be, I think, turning it around and getting Lyric out this week, deal with Drew next week. He has no power, so why not just get rid of him then?
It just really...
And I won't be voting again an unhealthy amount of times. I got God.
I'm still in my head. I'm just like, who am I going to vote for this week?
Okay, who am I kidding? I'm still going to send it out to somebody, but I don't know if it's going to be Drew the same way.
Yeah, I'm already putting this out there. I'm just going to go ahead and vote for Mallory. And it's like, do I think that Mallory is the person I'm rooting for the most? No, but it's just sort of like Drew and Melody are on the block. I don't want us all to make the same mistake here, where I honestly feel like Jason would have gotten the power
I agree. However, I don't vote until the next morning, until like before 9 o'clock, because it's like Friday morning till
Yeah.
9 o'clock. I wait until I see who's evicted.
Which is actually smart.
And then I'm like, who's left? And
Yeah.
then I will go.
Please, everyone, go ahead, do it that, like, vote who actually needs the power at that given point in time. Like, that's
Yes.
actually a lot more rational of a way to go about it.
At least none of the vets can get it anymore.
Yeah.
It's done.
That is the real positive here. Like, everything is going to be changing up, and like, I know they have their fans. I am going to be like, I will be more surprised than D secretly getting this power if, like, oh, here comes Chuck rolling in with the power when he's barely been on the show.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if it went to anyone in the red corner, even though they are working with them. But tinfoil hat, I could see it going to somebody who's like working really closely with the vets, like a Barrett.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well,
This is the darkest timeline.
it really is the darkest timeline. We have a lot more darkest timeline material with Barrett as we go further on in this video. But like, okay, there is where we have to talk about the vets and Angela, Devins, and D, where Angela, as you said, does not like Drew, wants Drew out of the game. And like, I know that there's going to be a lot of people who are upset with Drew and being like, how are you not seeing this, Drew? Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you not getting that you are the target? But I think the problem is Drew is thinking like a rational person would in this moment where I've given you guys all this information. You've talked about this for weeks, that like he's done everything this alliance wants. Why would they want him out? Angela's not thinking logically. And like the thing that if they didn't have powers, I think this would really come back to bite D and Devins. Like, I think this is a huge mistake, but America's already preemptively bailed them out. So maybe they'll be fine, but they're enabling Angela to do this, to be that paranoid about this, especially Devins, where I feel like Drew would follow him to the ends of the earth.
He would have followed all three of them to the ends of the earth. He was doing everything they said. They wanted him to go make friends with the other side of the house, gather information. Cool, no problem. But then it just turned into, oh, he's a middleman. No, you asked him to do this, so he's doing it for you. He's voted with you guys every single time. I know it's really frustrating for a lot of us that are watching the underdogs being like, Drew, why don't you see this?
Yeah.
It's because he's in it. It's like when you have that friend who's dating someone that's just so bad for them.
Yeah.
But because they're in it, they don't see it. But because, you know, we're on the outside looking in, it's like, yeah, we see it. We see it. But he doesn't see it. He's in the bad relationship. He doesn't see it. He thinks that they're in a good relationship, and he's still putting into that good relationship. It's hard when you're in it.
I wish we could vote on a power that, you know, since we're covering House of the Dragon here on the channel, like, let's call this the Send a Raven power, where we're able to send a Raven into the Big Brother house with a message written on it and just be like, Drew.
Dracarys!
The thing I would be very afraid of, like, this has happened in the past with Big Brother 2, where everyone remembers the legends of the wall yellers and all of that. Like, there will be a wall yeller, and then the person who hears it doesn't believe what the wall yell. They will still, like, convince themselves of whatever they want to think.
Back in my day with Big Brother and Big Brother 1, which is how long I've been watching, they paid people to fly planes over. They had tennis balls that they would open up and stuff messages and newspaper clippings in and whip it over the wall.
Yeah, it's just nobody can get through to some people if you believe strongly enough.
That's right.
In what is in your heart. And I think in Drew's heart, it is this idea of, I want to play with these legends who I've watched on TV. You know, we know that Drew is a longtime fan. You know, he idolizes people like Dr. Will. Like, and I think that is all very stuck in his head, to the point where, okay, over the last 24 hours, Mallory has informed Melody that, okay, you know what, Drew is actually probably being targeted. She has had conversations with Barrett about this, and Barrett has tried this whole spiel of, you know, they don't tell me everything, Mallory, but I'm getting this sense from them that, you know, this is going to happen, that Drew is going to be being targeted. I am so sick of Barrett, who has... Barrett, unfortunately, he got a power. It's called the Lost Your Spine power, where he developed an inability to stand up for himself or his own allies in this game at all.
Absolutely. It's the D power, the Barrett, and that is it. He is just whatever she wants whenever she wants it, and he doesn't have anything else going on. He is living his super fan dream, and that is what we are all watching. He's
Yes.
not playing this game. He's not supporting Drew.
Yeah.
He's not even doing anything. He's not even really running the bus over him either. He's just kind of like, you want to talk about a middleman? This is that guy who's just kind of floating around and just doing whatever Dee wants, which is not really anything. She just wants to make sure he continues to vote with them, and he will.
And that's it. He sits there, he hears information, he then acts like he doesn't hear all the information, and then
he doesn't use information for anything.
Yeah.
Information is the most important thing in this game, which is why I keep saying it is such a huge mistake for this alliance to get rid of Drew, who has brought back the most amount of information and continues to do so.
Yeah.
Even though he's on the block.
They want to get rid of someone who is loyal to them and keep someone in Lyric who is not only not loyal to them, the vets, but then also is probably going to fight long term to keep around people like Chuck, like Kamu, at the very least not put them up right away, because she knows that she has them wrapped around her finger. It is just like backwards thinking, not good gameplay that they will be bailed out on because of these powers.
Yeah, Mallory has told Drew that he probably doesn't have the votes, and he still doesn't believe it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, absolutely crazy that, like, Drew has been clued in on some of this. And I think Mallory thought that, okay, you know what? I'm going to try to be a good, I guess, friend. You know, I think she feels a little bit bad for Drew. I think she also does realize that I kind of want to keep Drew on some level, just because of the fact that I think he's going to go after this red corner group, even if she doesn't know names or whatever. Like, I think she feels that way. So she wants to try to clue him in, but it doesn't do any good if Drew is then just running back to people in the Toolshed and just being like, I'm not worried, guys. Don't worry. You're all voting for me. The Toolshed, you know, we just all got to stick together.
Oh, Drew, you are hurting my heart. Oh
Yes.
my God.
I feel even worse when he's talking to Devins. Like, this is the one that actually hurts me the most. And maybe it is because it feels like it's such a mistake for Devins to want to get him out. But it's just that Devins is straight up lying to his face constantly about Drew, whether or not he's the target, whether or not there's anything to be worried about. Devins is trying to play dumb, that he doesn't really know anything. And it's just like, I just feel, I don't know if it's subconsciously chipping away at Drew. Maybe it's that I wanted to chip away at him so that he actually does something. It's just so frustrating to watch. The other thing that's frustrating to watch, by the way, is that Mallory is also seemingly the only person who doesn't seem to understand that Lyric is throwing her under the bus constantly. She is trying to find excuses. How is Lyric's Mist even working on Mallory? Which is like, oh, she didn't mean it. She didn't mean to throw me under the bus as much as she did.
I think it's Mallory's in a tough spot just in general anyways, because there's not that many people kind of left on that side of the house that are actually talking and working together in any kind of capacity.
Yeah, I think
it's just limited sources at this point when you're like, yeah, I know they're not good to me, but like, what else is there?
And I think that is just sort of the sad situation for the underdogs at this point, where it was Taylor in particular who's trying to inform Mallory of all this information that she doesn't want to believe, when the reality is this group, Taylor, Mallory, Melody, like they all do need to come together, and maybe that will happen if one of them somehow by some miracle manages to win head of household. But because it never seems to happen, they only win the competitions that don't give them power for the week, that they just continue to scatter like ants, and they just get desperate. They throw each other under the bus, and they don't really have any sort of other leg to stand on.
And it's all they can kind of do. It's 4 weeks in, and they've had no power except sort of the power of defense.
So I wanted to try to think of this, because if it's not obvious, like, Drew is your guy, Melody is my girl. We are very big Drewity fans over here, and like,
what's happening right now with the ship name?
Let's see. We talked about yearning. We're sticking with the yearn. I want these two to continue their love story in the game. So, is there a way for this to happen? So let's say that Drew wins the blockbuster. Certainly feasible. You know, he's more than capable of it. It could be an interesting vote if it does come down to Melody versus Lyric, because it feels like a lot of the vets, some of the red corner people, are going to try to get rid of Melody. And then, like, a lot of the underdogs, they could try to get rid of Lyric. And there's one person who's really standing in the middle of this. Somehow, once again, it is Yash, who unfortunately also has a final 2 deal with Lyric.
I know.
He is still in the middle of everything, and that is why it is so essential that if Drew ever comes to his senses and realizes, okay, this is how much danger I'm in, he has to find a way to wake up Devins, Angela, and Dee to some of this information to keep Melody, because it also benefits them to keep Melody over Lyric. Even if Melody can't stand like 95% of the house, it's just the control that Lyric has over other people.
Yes, and I think that they are going to see a lot more of that this week. I think that they're clued in a little bit on what's going on, but it's only Monday, you know. I feel that Lyric is going to continue to do what she can with the red corner, and the rest of that alliance is going to see it more and more and more and more. If anyone's going to get paranoid about it, it'll be the D'Angela group, and that they may see that and be like, oh, well, if we lose Chuck and Kamu, that's a problem.
Yeah, like I think paranoia and how all this spirals out over the next week, over the next 2 weeks, I think it's going to be really, really interesting, because it just feels like this Toolshed alliance, they're not going to stick around forever. And I know that Dee and Devins have pushed this idea too of, okay, we want to keep around Kamu and Haley and Chuck because we can beat them. I'm about to, let's go back into the time machine for a moment, even though I don't want to.
All right, beep, pop, 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 boo.
We are in Big Brother 21. Lightning
what's
strikes in the
happening? Oh my
background.
God.
See, okay, this is my biggest fear with this strategy that they have going on right now, where they've done a lot to placate the red corner, and, you know, they may not look at Lyric this week because they don't want to anger Kamu or Chuck or what, but like, it just goes back to Holly and He Who Shall Not Be Named from Big Brother 21, where it's just like they kept thinking constant, this is a problem to deal with later. You know, they're not well liked. They can be dealt, but then eventually it got to a point where they just won a bunch of competitions and you couldn't get rid of them. I'm a little worried because Kamu and Haley have won the last couple HOHs, and they weren't even that physical of HOHs.
Oh my God, this is the actual darkest timeline, Matt.
Yeah, I would rather Grodner give Devins and Dee another twist and go ahead and just set them up to win the game over something like that. But I'm not gonna lie, like I am just like a tiny bit worried about it. Okay, let's get a little bit more into Angela's paranoia for a moment, because she is already trying to set up her next target here in the event she's going to get rid of Drew for no real reason, for nothing other than just like, I've convinced myself that he is a huge danger.
Yep.
She now has convinced herself that Yash is the next person who is a very,
so dangerous. It's so dangerous.
It's okay. This is Angela's new game plan. Am I looking to
Yash.
target a younger guy in the Big Brother house? You know, yes. Does this person either remind me of Matt from my season or Quinn from my season? Yes. Then I am automatically just going to try to get them out. There's no rhyme or reason to anything else.
Listen, Yash is going to go anyways.
Yes.
He's not working with you guys. The weirdest one is Drew because he is working with you guys.
Yes.
This one makes more sense. You guys can't control Yash.
Okay. Well, before we wrap this video up, we'll talk a little bit more about powers, and we'll go back here to Drew, because I mean, one of the big reasons that we were so snowed over about this idea that Drew has a power is that he's kept talking up this, don't worry, Devins, don't worry, guys, I've got a plan, I've got this. And we thought this plan was him winning HOH and using the Coin of Destiny on his own HOH to try to get rid of like those 3 red corner people.
No, instead he threw his HOH and he has no power.
Instead, his plan is just that he's now told Devins that, you know what, I think I'm going to put Haley, Lala, and Taylor on the block and Chuck as a possible Reno. It's like, that is the plan that you have been talking up all this time? Like, that's a pretty lame plan, Drew. I'm sorry, I like you, but it's just like, they could just get rid of Taylor and Lala, and this may not really accomplish that much of anything. I know Devins has talked a little bit about maybe we look at getting rid of these red corner people at some point, but is it really going to happen now?
Well, that's the thing about it, right?
Yeah.
Drew is supposedly just the pawn, right? That's what he's thinking in his mind. I'm just the pawn. If you really believe that, then why are you going to your own alliance and be like, you know, who's going to be going up on my HOH? Someone in our alliance. It's so weird. At that point, I would just be like, Drew, what are you talking about? Why would you do such a thing? as a pawn. Like, that should be out there.
Okay, so Dee's power, we'll talk about this briefly. The BB bribe, it's not the worst case scenario where I think we can all still be mad about the fact that the Vets had like a huge, like impossible to overcome advantage going into this season.
Yes, one of the Vets are going to win this season.
Yeah, where she can give someone the bribe, but they still have to agree to it. So, like, this is not anywhere near as overpowered as the diamond power of veto.
No.
Like, the fact that she hasn't told Devins about it, though, like, this does make me continuously a little bit afraid for Rick long term because it just feels like he is more committed to this than she is to it. And I know his power, it's a little bit more public. It's probably a little bit harder to hide in that way. But still, the fact that she is like denied this to his face in a very, very specific lying to you manner.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that Devins actually decided to tell her in the first place because he's also a sneaky sneak. I mean, if you've watched Survivor, they both are. But the fact that he was like, you know what, I'm going to try to build trust with her in a really big way to let her know we are going to the end together. And I'm like, are you like giving me the John Party treatment where I think you're actually taking her to the end and then at the last second you're going to cut her out of the game? Or are you actually going to take her to the end? Because Dee is going to cut you before the end of the game. 100%. She is not sitting at the end with Rick Devins.
You have referenced in this video both John Party and Big Brother 1. Like, give yourself a pat on the back here.
I watch a lot of Big Brother.
Deep, deep pulls. Okay, last thing here. It seems like the backyard is closed already. Like, maybe they'll surprise us. This just means one thing to me. Well, actually, we don't know anything, but I'm going to chant it anyway. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It might be early. Like, I understand all of that. I just feel like that is a competition that Melody, if she stays, or Mallory could easily win. Because
Drew can as well.
Yeah, they're small, low center of gravity. It doesn't always benefit the taller, more athletic people.
No.
I also just want to watch it on feeds. But okay, well, that is...
However, Dee is also small, could easily win that. Let's just be honest about it.
I was trying to forget that she is still in the house. I think she probably will.
Steamroll.
Okay, no, I'm not chanting that. Okay, all right. Well, we are done with this edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. Thank you guys so much for watching. As Jess did say earlier, follow us on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. You can see more about our story with Felix, our first picture of Felix and Bart on Instagram. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We will see you here next time.